Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Will and here is Anna. Let's start. Anna, something I've been noticing a lot lately, and honestly something that feels very different from how online business worked just a few years ago, is that more and more successful brands are growing without a person in front of them. No face, no personal story, no daily life content. And for someone listening right now who's been told for years that they must build a personal brand, must show up on camera, must be visible to build trust, this feels almost confusing. So let me start with a bigger question. What actually changed online that made faceless brands not only possible, but in many cases extremely profitable?
That's a great place to start, because nothing about faceless brands is accidental. What changed is not people, it's infrastructure. A few years ago, trust online was built mostly through personality. You followed a person, watched their journey, connected emotionally. Today, we're overwhelmed with personalities. Everyone is talking, everyone is selling, everyone is visible. What people are actually craving now is clarity and usefulness. When someone opens Instagram, YouTube, or Google, they're not thinking, who should I trust? They're thinking, who can solve my problem right now? Faceless brands work because they remove noise. There's no ego, no oversharing, no distraction. The brand becomes a signal, not a personality. And when the signal is consistent, same niche, same quality, same tone, the brain builds trust automatically. That's why a faceless page posting daily finance tips can feel more reliable than a creator who posts once a week but shares their personal life more than actual value.
That's really interesting, because it challenges something very deep in marketing, the idea that people buy from people. So let me push on that a bit. How does a faceless brand create emotional connection if there's no human story, no background, no face to relate to?
This is where most people misunderstand emotional connection. Connection doesn't require a face, it requires recognition. When someone repeatedly sees content that speaks directly to their situation, their pain, their goals, they start feeling seen. And feeling seen is emotional. For example, imagine a faceless page focused on burnout for remote workers. Every post describes exactly how you feel at 3 p.m. when you're exhausted but still have meetings. No face, no name, but you think, this is me. That's emotional connection. Faceless brands connect by being specific, not personal. They replace, this is my story, with, this is your experience. And in many cases, that connection is even stronger, because it's not filtered through someone else's personality.
So based on everything you've seen, who is this model actually best for? Because I imagine it's not for everyone.
You're right, it's not for everyone. Faceless brands are ideal for people who think in systems, not spotlight. If you enjoy creating frameworks, processes, content structures, this is perfect. If you prefer writing, researching, curating, or optimizing rather than performing, this is perfect. It's also great for people who want freedom. Freedom from being on. Freedom from personal exposure. Freedom from tying income to their personal identity. But if someone loves being on camera, telling stories, building a personal following, then personal branding may still be better. The key is alignment. Faceless brands are not easier, they're just different.
Okay, let's talk about money, because that's what people ultimately want to understand. How do faceless brands actually make money in real life? Not theory, real models.
Absolutely. There are several proven paths. First, content monetization. Faceless YouTube channels, blogs, and newsletters earn from ads and sponsorships. The audience doesn't care who you are, they care what you deliver. Second, affiliate marketing. A faceless page recommending tools, software, or resources can convert extremely well because it feels neutral and informational, not personal or salesy. Third, digital products. Templates, guides, toolkits, prompt packs. These work incredibly well under faceless brands because buyers focus on results, not the creator. Fourth, lead generation. Some faceless brands exist purely to capture leads and send traffic to businesses behind the scenes. What all these models have in common is this: they don't depend on personality, they depend on utility.
Okay, so if someone listening is thinking, this actually fits me, what are the non-negotiable tools they need to make this sustainable?
The most important thing is a content system, not just tools. You need a way to research what people are searching for, a way to create content efficiently, a way to distribute it consistently. AI tools help massively with research, writing, and ideation. Design platforms with templates remove friction. Scheduling tools ensure consistency even when you're offline. But the real tool is repeatability. If your process can't be repeated weekly without burnout, the brand will fail, face or no face.
Before we wrap up, what's the biggest mistake you see people make when they try to build faceless brands?
The biggest mistake is being vague. Faceless brands must be clear. Clear niche, clear audience, clear promise. When there's no face, clarity becomes the brand. If people don't immediately understand what you stand for and who you help, they won't stay.
That was incredibly insightful. I think a lot of people listening just realized they don't need to force themselves into a model that doesn't fit them.
Exactly. There's no single way to win online anymore, and that's a good thing.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to subscribe and share it with someone who thinks they have to show up on camera to succeed.
We'll see you in the next episode.